Hello everyone, it's Aaron here from Push Square with our eventual review of Ark Raiders. Let's see if this one has been worth all the hype in our PS5 review. Bit of a spoiler then when I say that Ark Raiders is easily one of the best multiplayer games that I've played on the PS5. This sophomore release from Swedish developer Embark Studios manages to balance all of the hardcore elements of an extraction shooter whilst making it accessible, cinematic, immersive, and most of all, just damn good fun. Ark Raiders is set in a post-apocalyptic world where most of humanity has fled to the stars. Those who remain are forced underground as the murderous Ark machines endlessly patrol the surface. But a brave few, known as Raiders, venture topside in a quest for loot, and guess what? More loot. And therein lies the primary gameplay loop. You go topside, you gather as much loot as you can, and then you try your darndest to make it home alive whilst either avoiding or killing Ark machines and other real players along the way. If you die, you leave behind everything on your person. It's the basic extraction premise that you've seen before in games like Hunt Showdown or even Bungie's upcoming Marathon. But Ark Raiders manages to stand out from the crowd with a delicately balanced experience that is fun for those with half an hour to spare and for those looking for the long grind. Regardless of which camp you land in, Ark Raiders delivers a phenomenal visual and audio experience. Visually, it's a mix of a Star Wars aesthetic with subtle accents of nature creeping its way over stone structures. Some areas really wouldn't go amiss in The Last of Us. Brutalist architecture is speckled with vines and moss. Open plains are littered by rusted cars and the corpses of Ark machines that have fallen in previous battles. Guns are rustic and Raiders wear scavenged garms that are both stylish and befitting of the world. It's a real looker of a game. Each of the 4 maps has a distinct look and feel. The claustrophobic and sandy streets of Buried City are quite the contrast to the open mountainous region of Blue Gate. And then it's all brought to life with a cinematic soundscape that is readable and immersive, yet suitably imperfect. It's not the pristine levels of sound design that you would hear in a Call of Duty, but instead is deliberately distorted, echoey, inappropriately hazy. It gives every setting a realistic depth, further embedding you in its world. And what's better is that the audio isn't just superficial either. It actually informs the gameplay, whether that's the distant beeps of an extraction being called or the wailing of a snitch letting you know that other raiders have been spotted. So many of your gameplay choices can be informed purely through the sound design. Put bluntly then, Ark Raiders is a visual and auditory masterclass, but that's not all it is, as the Emergent gameplay allows each match to create its own story, to the point that it often feels like a handcrafted single-player experience. One match you're silently sneaking through some dank hallways, closing in on unsuspecting looters. In another, you're desperately trying to escape with a bag full of supplies as you dodge bullets and rockets. For me, it's everything that I hoped The Last of Us Factions 2 would be. There are unknowable elements introduced with real-world players too. Now, I've been caught out plenty of times by players simply waiting for me to walk into their trap. And there is a social element too, as you can actually form shaky alliances with random players. I've never played a game where prox chat feels so integral to the experience, but a surprise for me was actually how dangerous the enemy AI can be. Runs can go sideways quickly if you aren't careful. Hornets and wasps can chip away at your shield and stun you, snitches can call in for backup, and if a rocketeer gets you in its sights, man, you're as good as dead. It all serves to keep you on your toes. One moment you will be well stocked with a bag full of loot, and the next dead. And that gun that you worked so hard to craft up is now nothing more than a distant memory. It's the risk and reward of an extraction shooter, and Ark Raiders balances it perfectly. The main difference in experience will be whether you are playing the game with friends or solo. With friends, or even filling up a squad with other players, is endless fun as you discuss tactics, goals, and how to deal with emerging situations. However, there's no dedicated solos or duo mode, so if you boot up yourself, there is a chance you'll still be going up against squads of 3. Now, at the time of recording, Embark has updated the game so that if you do play solo or in duos, they'll try to usher you into games with other duos or solo players. That's not entirely guaranteed though. What this means though is that you will be a part of a really tense game of cat and mouse, where most of the time you are most firmly the mouse. At the launch it could feel a little unfair, but now it has evened out a little. Regardless though of whether you're playing solo or with a squad, why would you keep coming back for more? Well, Arc Raiders has a number of retention mechanics to keep you invested. There's of course the core gameplay loop of hoarding your supplies and going out with better gear to take on more difficult enemies for even better loot to make even better gear. The maps also host a rotation of variations from night raids to massive queen harvesters roaming. New maps will be added to the game down the line too, with Stella Montis due to drop when I'm releasing this video. Then there's a skill tree which can upgrade stamina regeneration, looting speed, and the amount of noise you make while you loot, among other things. Vendors deal out quests, decks offer up new cosmetics, and Trials introduces a sort of leveling reward system that really encourages you to get into the fight when out on a raid. But the real end game content comes in the form of expeditions, which see you saving up supplies to build a caravan so you can venture further into the Rust Belt. This is Arc Raiders' version of optional character resets. These are multi-week endeavours, roughly 8 weeks or so, and can be completed within a set time window. If you decide to, your character will be reset, but you'll attain account perks and special cosmetics. Now what I love about this is that it's entirely optional. There's no mandatory requirement for you to grind the expeditions to keep up with other players. If you're slowly filling up your skill tree, you don't need to reset it if you don't have time to start over. And similarly, if you don't quite finish an expedition in time for the conclusion window, you can just wait to next time before you complete it. It's a game that respects your time and doesn't force you through hours of grind just to get to, you know, the good stuff. What that means is that from my first game, I was invested in Immerse. Each raid is dynamically shifting between stealth and action, hunting and fleeing, and the loot was at the heart of it all. Learning what each material means and what can be made from it is an entertaining learning curve. Like any extraction shooter, it can seem like a lot to start, but Arc Raiders has a really simple recycling and crafting system where inventory management and supply hoarding become key. And even as you progress, even the smallest kinds of loot can still be useful, so you aren't just sifting through piles of pointless rubbish. Loot then informs your raids as well, where if you want to get the good gear or the good weapons or to upgrade your workbenches, you're gonna have to take on bigger, more dangerous arc machines and venture into highly contested loot areas. And that's when the stakes feel even higher. Sure, the fundamental gameplay loop remains more or less the same, and you can be booted back to near enough square one with a few bad runs, but that danger and sense of progression delivers some of the best gaming highs I've had this generation. Now on the PS5 Pro, I have next to no complaints regarding performance. Both the Pro and base PS5 versions aim for 60 frames per second, although I have experienced some minor frame rate dips on the base PS5. Visually, as I've alluded to, it looks great in either version, with the Pro attaining a slightly higher, although still variable resolution. And I was pleased to find that DualSense haptics are actually great with this release. Weapons have a nice punchy feel, and explosions in particular are quite effective thanks to Sony's pad. It should be noted however that this isn't anywhere near Sony first party level. Arc Raiders has well and truly been worth the wait. This is a phenomenal showcase of what immersive multiplayer can be. Every run is different, and your squad will come out with stories to tell each time. It can be tougher in those planning to play solo, but it also respects your time. I can easily say that Arc Raiders is one of the best multiplayer games this generation. I'm giving Arc Raiders a 9 out of 10. Thank you so much for checking out our review of Arc Raiders. Do let me know what you've been thinking of the game down in the comments below. And while you're there, remember to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more PlayStation video content just like this. Anyway, thank you so much for checking out the review. That's all from me today. So until next time, I've been Aiden, and this has been Push Square.